Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate our 60th anniversary. Today is such a momentous occasion that I'd like to start first with recognizing some special guests that are here to celebrate with us. So I'll start first with Miss Dorothy Thornton Rencurrel, who is the niece of Miss Myrtle Lee Thornton. We also have our superintendent, Dr. Cavazos. We also have board member Polly Walton. And we might have her in just a little bit, board member Kristen Hudson. Leslie Johnston, Director of Communications. We have former principal, Mrs. Jan Durham. And former principal, Mr. David Gutierrez. We also have a teacher who started in 1956 when the school first opened its doors, Mr. Melvin Smith. We have so much to celebrate, but one important celebration is the commitment and dedication of our faculty and staff to Miss Myrtle Lee Thornton's legacy, that to teach with passion. For the faculty and staff at Thornton Elementary, it is not a job, it is a calling to teach and serve with passion at Myrtle Lee Thornton Elementary.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this wonderful celebration. Let's give Alicia, the principal here, a round of applause. Thank you, Alicia. So as we celebrate 60 years of Thornton Elementary School, we know that the 60 years that this school has been open, it has affected the lives of thousands and thousands of students. And their lives have been affected because Thornton Elementary does all their work, just like you see here tonight, with a lot of love. And they do that work with love for the young people. And so we'll never know the impact that this school has had completely on the lives of people, but we know that it's great. Thank you again for joining us. And we know that this celebration is made possible because there's a lot of love. And we also know that your support of our school district, of this school, and of your children truly affects the world. So thank you so much again.
Of course, Miss Myrtle was my aunt. And the family came, the Jefferson Alexander and the Josephine Thornton family moved to Texas in 1882, and they went to a place called Johnson Station, which is kind of, as the crow flies, about 10 miles from where we are. However, at 1906, they did move in to the town of Arlington, but they lived on a dirt road, believe it or not. We now call that dirt road Abram Street. But her sister, Grace G., was born in 1883. And Myrtle Lee, her sister, was born on December the 22nd, 1884. And she was the youngest of 10 children. And the Thornton stayed in Johnson Station until 1906. But then they moved into the great town of Arlington, or village of Arlington. And their home is still standing today. They raised their family there. That house had a legacy of hospitality, friendship, and family values. They had there was only one other house on that street when they moved there, and they did not have sidewalks or pavement. But they did have something special. They had what we called an electric car, which went from Fort Worth to Dallas, and it came right down in front of their house. And when they wanted to walk to town, they walked inside the railroad tracks to get to town. Both their mother and father died in this house. And then the Thornton sisters, as they were known throughout the city of Arlington, bought the house. Now, Aunt Myrtle, as I called her, not in class though, but Aunt Myrtle taught at Arlington High School. She was in charge of the Latin department, but she also taught math. Her sister was an elementary educator, and she was taught the 6th grade in the Hanley School, as well as she was principal of the Hanley School. And these ladies taught a lot of kids. I won't say kids because when Aunt Myrtle was in high school, they were not exactly kids, but she did teach such people as Tom Vandergriff. She taught him, well, she tried to teach him geometry, but it didn't work out so well. But, and she taught many other people. Obviously, she was my teacher, and it was kind of funny because if we couldn't get a lesson in class, it was my job to call her at night and have her tell me how to work the problem. And then Arlington didn't exactly have what you would call cell phones, but what we had were party lines. And you'd be surprised how many people you could get on a party line to tell them how to work a math problem. It was unbelievable. But that was kind of the way that we did it. Aunt Myrtle was a real, well, she liked to teach school. She really did. And when, and she actually started teaching in Johnson Station, and it was the County Public School number 47. And y'all probably are not familiar with that, but Mr. Lawrence was the principal, and he had 2 daughters, Ethel and Zena, and they were also teachers. This school was a one-room schoolhouse, which is kind of hard to imagine because it wasn't even as big as the room in which we're sitting tonight. But when Aunt Myrtle and Aunt Grace both graduated from the college in Commerce in Itasca, Texas, they came to Arlington to teach, and they spent their entire teaching life here. One of the major things that I remember is they went to the University of Colorado to get their MA degree, and Aunt Myrtle, who really wasn't very athletic, wrote her thesis on there should be more physical education in the elementary schools. And fortunately, I have that thesis that she wrote. And it's quite interesting. She loved students. She loved teaching. And, of course, the students all loved her, but they loved to play pranks on her. I can remember one time a group of young men decided that they would put tacks in her seat just to see. Well, she sat down, and she never flinched, and she spent half a day with 3 tacks in the back of her dress. But she never let them know, except if they did not do their classwork. She had a yardstick. You're all familiar with the yardstick, where it's about 3 feet. And she would walk around the room, and if you weren't doing your work, she'd stand beside your desk, and she'd hit the yardstick on the floor. You knew you were in trouble. We can't do that today, so teachers don't try it. I don't think you'd get very far. But back in the 30s and the 40s, the teachers had a lot of I won't say power, but they had the respect of the students, and the students respected what they said. My aunt retired in 1949. I graduated from Arlington High School, believe it or not, in 1949. And that year, the annual, we called the Coke Chorale, was dedicated to her for all of the work that she had done. I don't know whether you all have the annual here in your library, but if not, I'll try to get you one. The Thornton family was Miss Myrtle Lee was very active in many organizations. She was a member of Delta Kappa Gamma, which is an organization for teachers, and the Story League, the Shakespeare Club, and the Daughters of the American Revolution. And she was members of many national organizations as well. Miss Myrtle was a life member of the Board of the Stewards of the First United Methodist Church. In fact, they helped organize that church. The Thornton family was well educated and they took their place in the community. Her brother, Walter Thornton, was an attorney. Will Thornton was a real estate agent. Horace Thornton sold leather works from Schulcock Company in Dallas, and he was married to my mother, and she taught kindergarten. So you see, it kind of goes around and around and around. And as I said, Miss Grace taught in Hanley, and Miss Myrtle taught in Arlington High. Molly, one of their sisters, was married to W.C. Weeks, was the mayor of the city of Arlington. He was also a commissioner. The Thornton family promoted the community in every way they could. Their home stands today. It's still at 719 West Abram Street. In case you're wondering, it's now called the Thornton Inn, which is kind of nice. And it still stands as a monument to the family, but also a legacy of love and dedication to the ideas and the philosophies of Miss Myrtle Lee Thornton.
Let's welcome Oliver Garcia.
One of our former teachers celebrating with us tonight is Mr. Melvin Smith. Mr. Smith taught at Thornton Elementary 60 years ago when it opened. He taught 57th graders here because construction at Carter Junior High was not complete yet. He taught athletics after school every day until 6:30 p.m. His early salary then was $3,500 and an extra $700 for athletics. Mr. Smith moved to Carter the next year to coach and later went on to be an elementary assistant principal and principals with 30 years in the district. Melvin Smith is 87 years old and his wife Regina is 82. They both retired from Arlington over 30 years ago.
Let's welcome once again Mr. Melvin Smith. And also, Miss Murray, who teaches with us here pre-K, is their daughter. So we are glad to have Miss Murray here with us as well. Thornton Elementary Ballet Folklórico with Mr. Jorge Gutierrez performing to Arriba Pichataro.
We want to thank Forster's Financial for providing the hot dogs. Forster's Financial, along with Corrine Jones, have been strong supporters of Thornton Elementary for the last 2 years.
Miss Corinne Jones from Forster's Financial, thank you for providing the hot dogs. Pre-K students, the teacher that helped them with the dance is Miss Noemia Costa. They will be performing La Patita Lulu.
Lulu es una patita que es muy divertida, todo el día se ríe a carcajadas, con su cuac, 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 por aquí, por allá, porque hoy es un día especial. ¿A dónde vas, Lulu? Corriendo tan deprisa, con tu vestido rojo y tus blancas zapatillas. El baile va a empezar y no quiero llegar tarde y bailar hasta que salga el sol. Lulu menea la patita, menea la colita, mueve las alitas y se da una vueltecita. Se agacha despacito, se levanta de un brinquito y sigue así hasta que salga el sol. Lulu menea la patita, menea la colita, mueve las alitas y se da una vueltecita. Se agacha despacito. todos para que bailen contigo. Cuac, cuac. Lulu es una patita que es muy divertida. Todo el día se ríe a carcajadas con su cuac, 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 por aquí, por allá, porque hoy es un día especial. ¿A dónde vas, Lulu? Corriendo tan deprisa, con tu vestido rojo y tus blancas zapatillas. El baile va a empezar y no quiero llegar tarde y bailar hasta que salga el sol. Lulu menea la patita, menea la colita, mueve las alitas y se da una vueltecita. Se agacha despacito, se levanta de un brinquito y sigue así hasta que salga el sol. Lulu menea la patita, menea la colita, mueve las alitas y se da una vueltecita. Se agacha despacito, se levanta de un brinquito y sigue así hasta que salga el sol. Lulu menea la patita, menea la colita, mueve las alitas y se da una vueltecita. Se agacha despacito, se levanta de un brinquito y sigue así hasta que salga el sol. Y sigue así hasta que salga el sol. Y sigue así hasta que salga el sol.
For over 7 years, one of our most loyal supporters has been the Arlington Sunrise Rotary. Among many other contributions, one of them is their commitment to help keep students in school. They do this by awarding 2 tablets each 6 weeks for a boy and a girl who have perfect attendance.
And now we have once again our very own Ballet Folklórico performing El Sinaloense. Let's welcome them.
Almost half of the performances today are from the Ballet Folklórico, which is represented by students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Mr. George Gutierrez has been the sponsor for the Ballet Folklórico for the last 3 years. He has done an outstanding job in preparing the students for many performances at school and at many other events throughout Arlington. We are so lucky to have such a great teacher in the classroom and with the Ballet Folklórico.
Kindergarten students dancing to El Cerro de la Silla. And now we have once again our Ballet Folklórico dancing to the Mexican Hat Dance.
This is the second year that we have the Leg Robotics After School Club. The students really love being a part of this club. Mr. Emmanuel Rodriguez and Miss Melissa Tate sponsor the Lego Robotics Club. We appreciate them for their hard work and their dedication to our students.
First grade dancing to El Cerro de la Silla.
The student council loves to be involved. Miss Erica Tinney and the student council have helped out this year at Mission Arlington and at various events on campus. We appreciate Miss Tinney helping our students be of service to the community.
Second grade dancing La Bamba.
Oye, es la versión 2013. Muchacha, JF, DJ Eran.
Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia para ti, para mí. Ay, arriba, ay, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré.
Esta canción mexicana graba en mi mente, en la disco o en la playa, calienta el ambiente, óyela, es una locura. Bamba 2013, mueve como tú quieras, es el nuevo estilo. Báilalo, báilalo, ven pa' acá, no seas tímido, gózalo, gózalo, ten cuidado, no te pierdas el ritmo. Báilalo, báilalo, todo te está permitido, gózalo, gózalo, hasta poco sin poner una mano en el piso.
Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia para ti, para mí. Ay, arriba, ay, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré.
Todos juntos hacemos la ola, una lluvia de papeletas, como si fuera el día del carnaval. Sigue con tu movimiento, nena, muévete como mi bamba loca. Lo que quiero es solo una cosa, que cante mi gente este tema. ¡Sube la mano! Oh, 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 nos vamos de rumba. Oh, 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 el verano ya empieza. Oh, 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 sigue. Oh, 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 baila esta bamba loca. Baila la cosa, ya tú
Para
sabes.
bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia para ti, para mí. Ay, arriba, ay, arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, bamba.
Sube la mano, baila conmigo, y canta conmigo, y ya se acabó.
The Thornton Chess Club is so talented. Mr. Andrew Wally, with the help of his wife, Patricia Falcone Wally, have built a chess club that opponents fear. They have earned so many trophies that we are now going to have to purchase an additional display case.
Ballet Folklórico dancing to La Evangelina.
The Art Club is another extracurricular club that is available for students. Ms. Katie Morris is the sponsor, and she does a great job inspiring the students to be artists.
4th grade students performing to a Brazilian dance. Their instructor is one of our 4th grade teachers, Miss Araujo.
O que é que a baiana tem?
Tem doce de seda, tem
Príncipe de ouro, tem
corrente de ouro, tem
pano da costa,
tem bata rendada, tem pulseira de ouro, tem
saia esgomada, tem
sandália enfeitada, tem
graça como ninguém.
Quando você se quebra, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim. Quando você se quebra, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim. O que é que a baiana tem? 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 Oi, Carmen, só vai ao bonzinho quem tem um quadro de ouro, uma palma pra cima. Mas quem não tem balangandãs não vai no bom fim. Hoje não vai no bom fim, hoje não vai no bom fim, hoje não vai no bom fim, hoje não vai no bom fim. Quando você se quebra, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim, caia por cima de mim. Quando você se quebra, caia por cima de mim, caia de mim, de mim. O que é que a baiana tem? O que é que a baiana tem, Carmen? O que é que a baiana tem? O que é que a baiana tem? Só vai ao bom fim quem tenha. É. O que é que a baiana tem? Oi, 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 oi. Oi, 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 oi. Oi, 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 oi. Diz comigo. O que é que a baiana tem?
Once again, our Ballet Folklórico with La Cápsula. I want to take a moment to give credit to all the dance instructors for tonight. For pre-K, we have Ms. Noemia Costa, pre-K TA. For kinder, Rosa Beckers, kinder TA. First grade, Ms. Aguilar, first grade teacher. Second grade, La Bamba, Miss Laura Ramirez, parent volunteer. Fourth grade, Miss Araujo, fourth grade teacher. For the Thornton Choir, Miss Covington, our music teacher, and Miss Natalie Pullen. For the strings performance that's getting ready to get started, Mr. Wynn. For the Ballet Folklórico, Mr. Jorge Gutierrez, third grade teacher. And for every single person in the family involvement team, the FIT team, thank you so much. There's about 15 staff members in that team, and they have done an outstanding job in getting this event ready. So let's thank them. So getting ready here to finish off our program for our 60th anniversary celebration will be our strings class or our strings club. We have 5th grade and 6th grade students in that club. So while they're telling me back here that we need some time, I'm thinking, okay, I know what I'm going to say. So parents, when I started here and was hired by Miss Jan Durham in 1996, and I walked through the doors, just as Miss Myrtle Lee Thornton said, you know, once you walk in here, you're a much better person leaving out. Well, Mrs. Durham had that confidence in me. She interviewed me and she hired me and she took me to a special education classroom. And and I'm getting kind of chills right now because as soon as I walked into the school, but then into the classroom, I knew that this is where I wanted to be. And so to Mrs. Durham, who gave me that opportunity and pushed me to do other things for someone who tried to kind of do her own thing back here, but her seeing leadership qualities in me and pushing me. Thank you, Mrs. Durham. I appreciate you. And then working under also Mr. David Gutierrez, who hired me as assistant principal, there couldn't be a better boss to have than Mr. Gutierrez. Such a great mentor to have, but I also worked alongside him when he was a teacher here, because Mr. Gutierrez was also a teacher here, and so he taught 1st grade, and I was teaching 5th grade. We are now ready for our string students to close our 60th anniversary. Please give them a round of applause, a nice warm welcome. Did you like the program? Thank you for being here tonight. We do have hot dogs for you and drinks and cookies for you to enjoy. So please stick around. And also, I want our special members to stay to take pictures, so please don't leave us. All right, have a great evening.